Bloom and you. Today we will cover 4 essential questions. What elements should be included when writing objectives? How do objectives apply to instructional design projects? Is task sequence important? How does this relate to ADDIE? And why would an instructional designer use Bloom's taxonomy? The first question is what elements should be included when writing objectives? First, you need to identify the noun. Next, you need to choose a level of Bloom's taxonomy that you wish to follow. Select a verb that is observable and add additional criteria. The noun would be your target audience, for example, student. Bloom's taxonomy we'll discuss a little bit more in depth later on. The verb is an action that you can observe, and additional criteria is anything else you might need to include. Remember, your objectives need to be SMART, and by that I mean specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. It needs to follow within this criteria, otherwise it's going to be too broad. These are non-examples. First, students will know how to multiply. Next, doctors will understand how to use the new program. These are great examples. First, students will model to appear how to multiply 5 multi-digit multiplication problems correctly. Next, doctors will be able to create a Google Slides presentation about how to use a new program. The second question is, how do objectives apply to instructional design projects? Well, as instructional designers, our projects always start with the end in mind. Objectives need to be centered on the outcome we want to achieve. The third question is task sequencing important? How does it relate to ADDIE? Yes, it is important. To begin, I'd like to address an example of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. The example of the peanut butter and jelly sandwich preparation is key. If we do not have all of the necessary ingredients, we will not succeed at making the sandwich. As well as if we are studying karate, if we miss the basics, we will not be able to progress to become a black belt. This applies to any situation involving multiple steps. The end result will be affected if one of these pieces is missing. Just like when we create an arch, we need to make sure that every piece is there in order for it to be strong. This is why it connects to ADDIE. I like this quote. A task is a challenge or duty that is normally accomplished during a problem-solving activity or a series of activities. It involves the pursuit of prior or emergent goals. The activity involved in the learning of a sequence of tasks engages perceptual, cognitive, communicative, and procedural skills which are applied to novel or pre-existing stimulus materials. The goal of instructional designers is to meet the end goal. However, we don't want to settle for the path of least resistance. We want to foster deep learning. We do this by incorporating higher order thinking skills. In Bloom's taxonomy, there are 3 domains: the cognitive, psychomotor, and affective. This diagram shows the same concept of Bloom's taxonomy. The cognitive domain is where we turn when we think about math, science, social studies, language arts, anything with information that needs to be processed in an academic setting. The affective domain is what we use when we talk about emotions, such as receiving information and how we value it, organize it, and prioritize the information we receive. The psychomotor domain is where we turn when we talk about any performance-based skills, such as dance, basketball, soccer, etc. We start by simply observing, and then we work our way. Bloom's taxonomy is very important.